As of March 16, 2026, the strategic landscape of the Middle East has shifted from a state of intense bombardment to one of absolute air dominance. While the F-35 Lightning II has served as the nerve center for the first 2 weeks of Operation Epic Fury, the activation of the F-22 Raptor fleet marks the arrival of the silver bullet. For the first time in the 20-year history of the platform, the world's premier air superiority fighter has been moved from a defensive, overwatch posture into an active, aggressive hunt across the Iranian interior. The panic in Tehran is not just about the bombs. It is about the invisibility of the threat. The activation of the first fighter wing from Langley, now operating out of Ovda Air Base in southern Israel and undisclosed lily pad locations in Jordan, means that the Iranian Air Force, IRIAF, is no longer just losing its airfields. It is losing the ability to know if the sky above its own capital is occupied. The stealth vanguard, Raptors in the red zone. The F-22 Raptor was designed for one purpose: to kick down the door of the most heavily defended airspaces on Earth and annihilate anything that flies. In the context of the 2026 Iran war, the Raptors are being used to sweep the remaining corridors where Iran's Russian-made Su-35 flankers and aging F-14 Tomcats might attempt a desperate last stand. Electronic silence. Operating with their radars in passive mode, Raptor pilots are utilizing the jet's advanced ALR-94 electronic warfare system to sniff out Iranian ground-based radars without ever revealing their own position. Supercruise escalation. Unlike other fighters that must use gas-guzzling afterburners to reach supersonic speeds, the F-22 can supercruise at Mach 1.5. This allows Raptor pilots to intercept Iranian drones or fast movers across vast distances with almost zero infrared warning, appearing as ghosts on Iranian thermal sensors only seconds before an AM-120D AMRAAM finds its mark. The manned-unmanned revolution. Perhaps the most terrifying development for the IRGC command structure is the confirmed integration of MQ-20 Avenger Loyal Wingman drones with the F-22 fleet. Activated under the latest combat protocols, Raptor pilots are now acting as quarterbacks in the sky, directing swarms of stealthy, autonomous drones deep into the Iranian interior. This teaming allows a single F-22 to control a sensor net that covers hundreds of miles. The Avengers fly ahead, drawing out the remaining S-300 and S-400 radar emissions, while the Raptor, sitting safely behind the electronic curtain, pickles off missiles or cues AB-2 Spirit to level the site. This is not just a battle, it is a high-speed, digital erasure of the Iranian military's ability to see. Total paralysis, the view from Tehran. The panic reported within the Iranian Ministry of Defense stems from the realization that their recent acquisition of Russian Su-35s has been rendered moot. On March 12, a flight of 4 Su-35s attempting to protect a missile convoy near Isfahan vanished from Iranian radar screens simultaneously. No distress calls were recorded. No lock-on warnings were triggered. It was a textbook Raptor snatch. The F-22s had engaged from beyond the horizon, utilizing the Su-35's own radar signatures against them. With Mojtaba Khamenei reportedly struggling to maintain cohesion within the regular army and the IRGC, the psychological impact of the Raptor's arrival cannot be overstated. When the buff B-52 arrives, you hear it. When the Super Hornet arrives, you see it on the radar. But when the Raptor is in the area, the first sign of its presence is the explosion of your wingman's aircraft. This fear of the unknown has kept the majority of the IRIAF grounded, effectively handing the U.S. total control of the skies for the terminal phase of Epic Fury. The Steel Bridge and Raptor sustainment. The activation of these scarce fifth-generation assets is only possible through the massive C-17 Steel Bridge logistics operation. Maintaining the F-22's delicate radar-absorbent material, RAM, in the harsh, sandy environment of the Middle East requires a constant flow of specialized technicians and climate-controlled hangars. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth emphasized that the U.S. has overcome the tyranny of distance. The 100-plus tankers currently orbiting the region ensure that the Raptors can stay on station for 8-hour combat air patrols, creating a permanent canopy of stealth over the Gulf. This logistical endurance is the final nail in the coffin for the regime's hope that the U.S. would run out of steam or high-end munitions. Conclusion: the end of resistance. The activation of the F-22 Raptor pilot signals that the United States has officially removed the gloves. The campaign is no longer about containment. It is about the absolute dismantling of the Iranian regime's status as a regional power. As the Raptors orbit silently over Tehran, their pilots waiting for the slightest hint of electronic life from the ground, the message is clear. The sky no longer belongs to the Islamic Republic. It belongs to the ghosts of the United States Air Force. The strategic reality is now undeniable. With American steel choking the Gulf and ghosts haunting the skies, the regime's foundation has crumbled, leaving Tehran to face a final, inevitable reckoning. This is no longer a localized skirmish. It is a total realignment of Middle Eastern power. As the IRGC's command structure collapses and the invisible war penetrates the deepest bunkers, the silence following the F-35 strike speaks louder than the explosions. The era of the Islamic Republic's regional hegemony is over, replaced by a horizon dominated by the relentless, technological might of a superpower that has officially removed the gloves. The C-17s keep coming, the tanks are rolling off the ramps, and the steel bridge is now a permanent fixture of a new, post-regime landscape. Tehran's hope for a stalemate has been shattered by the overwhelming efficiency of the steel bridge. As U.S. orbital sensors watch the regime's military stores dry up, the American logistics machine remains perfectly synchronized and seemingly bottomless. The high-tempo arrival of C-17s ensures that U.S. defensive magazines are never empty, replacing every interceptor fired with 10 more. This logistical superiority has allowed the U.S. to flood the theater with overwhelming ground power and counterfire tech, effectively trapping the IRGC leadership within their own borders. The message sent by the constant landing of heavy-lift aircraft is undeniable. The U.S. is committed to outscaling and outsustaining any form of resistance until the regime is fully neutralized. This mobilization signals the final act of a geopolitical drama that has spanned decades. By committing heavy armor to the border, the U.S. is demonstrating that it will not settle for a stalemate. The roar of the Abrams engines across the desert floor is the sound of a regime's clock running out, ensuring that the neutralization of Tehran's military infrastructure is both absolute and permanent in this new world order.